Hey friends, now I'm going to make a video for how to round decimals, just as a little refresher in case we need it. So when you're rounding decimals, what you want to do is box in your number to the place value you're rounding to. Then you make your benchmark numbers, those friendly numbers that are going to go above and below your number. Then I put a star next to this one because if you want to put your number on a number line because that's the strategy that's working for you, then continue to do that. Your benchmark numbers are going to be the number on either end of your number line. It'll make more sense when I show you in a minute. But if you're comfortable enough and you are successful, that's the key word. If you are successful without using a number line, then that's fine. That's what works for you. So then what you're going to do is decide which benchmark number your number is closer to. So let's look at this in action and practice a little bit. I'm going to use a different color just so it's a little bit easier to see. So round 2 and 1700ths to the nearest tenth. All right. Oops, wrong tool. My bad. Nobody's perfect. So the 10th thing, that's what's important here because we need to know what we're rounding to. All right, so 2, and I'm going to box in to the tenths place. All right, so this right here is going to be my first benchmark number, 2 1/10. So what would be on the other side? 2 2/10. All right, so let's say I do want to put this on my number line. All right, I'm going to draw myself a number line. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just enough so that you can see it. 2 1/10 is going to go down on this end because it's my first benchmark number from up here. 2 2/10 is going to go down here because remember that's my other benchmark number that I found over there. All right, now I got to think what would be in the middle. Well, I'm going to put in my little invisible zeros to help me figure it out. So really let's think about this as if it were 2 10/100ths and 2 20/100ths. Well, what's right in between 10 and 20? 15, right? So I can make this 2 15/100ths, and boom, there we go. So now we fill in the rest of my tick lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So I got to think, where is 2 1700ths going on this number line? Well, if this is 2 1500ths, then this would be 2 1600ths. So 2 1700ths is going to go right here, and I'm even going to label it 2 1700ths. All right, now comes the tricky part. Figuring out which benchmark number, 2 1/10 or 2 2/10, because that's what we're rounding to, the nearest tenth. Where am I closer to? Well, this is my midway point. I gotta think, which side of my middle point am I on? I'm on this side. So I'm going to round to 2 20/100ths, or 2 2/10, because we're rounding to tenths. So my answer would be 2 2/10. Done. All right, let's try another one down here. Round 4 638,000ths to the nearest tenth. I'm going to highlight that again because it's so important to know what place value we're rounding to. In this case, it's tenths. So again, box in my number to the tenths place. 4, and the 6 is my digit in the tenths place here. So that's going to be my top benchmark number. I already have half the work done. 4 6/10. So what's going on the other side? Well, 4 7/10. I just add 1/10 to it. 4 7/10. Again, I'm going to put this on the number line. If you are comfortable and, keyword, successful without the number line, you do you and you don't need it. But if you want it, go ahead and make one. All right? There's no rush. So on this side, I'm going to be doing 4 6/10. Got my top benchmark number that I got from up here. On the other side, I got 4 7/10. Remember that benchmark number from down below. Then in the middle, what's my middle point? Well, remember, I could draw my little invisible imaginary zeros here. So now I'm thinking, this is 4 and 60 hundredths. This is 4 and 70 hundredths. What would be right in between there? 4 and 65 hundredths, right? I know you're all agreeing with me. All right, so now I have this part down. Let's draw the rest of my tick lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so my actual number is 4 and 638 thousandths. So I'm going to label this one just so I can, keep myself on track of where I am, because when you have so many numbers, it's easy to get confused. There's no problem with this. Oh my goodness, you know what? I made a mistake. As all my little smart cookies in my class know, I make mistakes all the time. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as you go back and fix it. That's why you pay double attention. 4 and 60 hundredths. So the next number would be 4 and 60 100ths. 4 and 62 hundredths. 4 and 63 hundredths. 4 and 64 hundredths. I already have 4 and 65 hundredths. That's my halfway point. 4 and 66 hundredths. 4 and 67 hundredths. 4 and 68 hundredths. Ooh, that was and 4 and 69 hundredths. And then I have 4 and 7 tenths. So, again, where is 4 and 638 thousandths going on it? Well, I'm looking. So I have 4 and 63 hundredths here, and it's a little bit more than that. So here's 4 and 63 hundredths. Here's 4 and 64 hundredths. 4 and 638 thousandths is going to be somewhere around here. If it's here, that's fine. If it's here, that's fine. As long as it's, on this end of this little interval here, that's totally fine. The important part is that it's in between 4 and 63 hundredths and 4 and 64 hundredths. So I'm going to draw my midway line. I'm going to draw it extra big. If I had a highlighter and this were a piece of paper, I would probably use a highlighter just so it catches my eye. Because as you've seen, we all make mistakes, and you really need to be paying attention so you catch your mistakes. So if this is my midway point and this is where my number is, am I closer to 4 and 6 tenths or am I closer to 4 and 7 tenths? I'm closer to 4 and 6 tenths. So my answer would be 4 and 6 tenths. I want you guys to notice I'm not drawing in that extra 0 here because it says specifically in the question, round the number to the nearest tenth. So my answer needs to be in tenths. All right, let's just do one more because this one we're going to do to the whole number. Whole numbers can be a little bit tricky. So I want to make sure I do one in here. All right, so I'm rounding 14 and 524 thousandths to the nearest whole number. All right, what is the whole number here? The whole number is 14. It's not just 4. 4 is a whole number. 4 is in the ones place, but the whole number is anything on this side, the left side of the decimal point. All right, so I write what's in my box up above and down below. Now let me ask you, let me write over to the side just to show you guys. So if I had only boxed in the 4, like maybe I got confused, maybe I'm just, trying to go quickly, and I write my benchmark numbers, I got 4 and 5, right? Does that make sense? Ask yourself that question. Does it make sense? Is 14 and 524 thousandths in between the number 4 and 5? No, it's way, way further down on the number line. So this doesn't even make sense. So that should be my first clue that I have gone wrong somewhere. I need to stop. I need to go back. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. So let's look. 14 and 15 is where I am at. So I draw my number line. Boop, boop, boop. I have 14 on this end because that's my top benchmark number. I have 15 on this end because that's my other benchmark number. Right in the middle, what would I have? 14 and a half, which we could call 14 and 5/10. Draw the rest of my intervals. All right, so now I have to put my number on this number line. Where would my number go on the number line? Well, 14 and 5/10 is here. It's going to be in between 14 and 5/10 and 14 and 6/10, somewhere around here. All right, so let's draw our midway point. Alrighty, here's the real question. Am I closer to 14 or am I closer to 15? Well, I'm on this side of my halfway point, so my number is rounding to 15. So 14 and 524 thousandths, so the nearest whole number, is going to be 15. So there you go. Just a little review for you.